Hello again. Got the tree back on the stand where it's sitting upright, and I thought I'd make a quick video to show you guys a couple of things. Hopefully this thing's in focus now. It's hard to see in there. Let me see if I can get a little more light on it. But I do have this thing resting, hopefully on 3 points in there. And the one thing I'd like to point out is this right here. This part right where that tip is, that needs to come down and be touching the wood here. It's real important to get as many roots as you can, to give a stable base, because otherwise when you're twisting roots farther out, if you got too many roots that aren't touching the base here, it can make your tree wobbly, and you don't want a wobbly tree. But otherwise, I'm just going around and bending these up and putting any initial bends left, right, up or down in them that I need to, because once I start pulling roots out from the sides here, I won't be able to get in there and bend them. So the basic theory is, when you're making roots, you need to put all the bends in them that you're going to put in them right away, because once you get a little further out, it's really hard to get back in there and do a bend left, right, or up and down without marring the wire. Because I don't know, you guys have probably seen my roots in past videos. They're all kind of interlocking, and that's important just from the visual aspect, and that's what trees kind of do. And it's also important to just have things that don't fall apart. But let me think, is there anything else I should point out? Oh, a couple of questions on there. There's actually one, a comment I didn't quite understand. C-Tillet, that guy from Uzbekistan, hopefully I'm saying that right. He had the comment that making leaves is easier than he thought. I don't know if you've ever made any leaves yet. Yeah, the first, couple hundred of them are pretty easy. But if you're knocking out a few thousand a day, that last couple hundred leaves of the 1,000, they get pretty hard. It's hard to hold your hands up. I mean, if you just take your hands up and pretend you're making leaves, and do this for 5-10 minutes, you'd be surprised how heavy your hands get. And then there's a user by the name of Soph. She's asking how to add in strands. Well, I think I'll be adding in some strands in the roots here. And Soph, maybe you haven't seen some of my past videos. Go look, and any video where the thumbnail is a branch split, most of those videos I'll be talking about how I add in strands, because there's just many different ways to add in strands, and even me, I'm kind of changing them as I go along. But I'll be sure to do some more adding strands videos when I decide to add some strands in here at the roots. It's a little different with the roots because I'm just going out horizontally and there's not, up and down, but in theory it's kind of the same. I don't know if there's anything else important I got to tell you. Besides, don't poke your eye out. Wear safety glasses. And like here with these, when you bend stuff out of the way like this, so it's just out of the way, make sure it's not resting on something else and has spring to it, because you'll accidentally bump that and all of a sudden it'll free up and it'll come flying out right at your face. So if you're bending stuff out of the way, make sure it's not resting on anything else where it could possibly spring back and poke you in the eye. I think that's all I got for today. I'll talk to you guys soon. I guess my next step here is I need to put any initial bends in these roots here. And and another thing I wanted to show you. If I wanted to pull out a root, say right here, I couldn't get that back with my fingernails, but what I can do is get in there with a pick and just start working it back. If need be, I could really cut it all off, but if you just take a pick and sit there and keep peeling it back and forcing it. Sooner or later, when you decide to pull your wires out, because you got this kind of pre-loosened up, your wires will pull back even further. So theoretically, I could pull out a root right here, I believe, if I just kept working this. You just get your pick in there. And this works for branches too, of course. You just keep working it back. And when you stretch that out, because I really don't want this whole piece of wrap to get loose here, because I don't want that bunch of wires loosening up and moving around in there. I want those to stay right where I put them. So maybe that's another helpful tip. Hope everybody's having a great. The weather here sucks. Hopefully it's better where you are.